prison officer who filmed a seedy sex tape with an inmate in a jail cell sobbed as she was sent down for 15 months today. Linda de Souza Abreu, 31, was charged with misconduct in public office after footage showed her having sex with Burleigh prisoner Linton Weick while on duty at HMP Wandsworth. The X-rated video was circulated among lags using illegally held phones. In the background of the 5-minute clip, a second con, smoking cannabis, who filmed the video, could be heard boasting, "This is how we live at Wandsworth," while de Souza Abreu's discarded radio crackled with messages. The married prison officer from Fulham, southwest London, pleaded guilty to misconduct in public office at Isleworth Crown Court in July. She was jailed for 15 months at the same court today. She will serve half of that in custody and the remainder on licence. Sentencing her, His Honour Judge Martin Edmonds KC said, "At the time of the offence you were distracted from your job and your radio and keys were at risk. That in itself is a risk. An inappropriate relationship, whether freely entered into or the result of manipulation by a prisoner, creates significant risk to the good order of the prison and makes the prison officer vulnerable to coercion by the prisoner or to carry information or contraband. Such relationships are utterly corrosive within the prisons, and the sharing of recordings within the prison will make matters worse." The judge said de Souza Abreu's behaviour has led to female officers at Wandsworth being subject to sexual approaches and regarded as fair game by prisoners. He said children of fellow prison officers had also been teased about what their mums do for work. He continued, "It is inevitable that the damage for which you were responsible at Wandsworth has spread to some degree through the prison estate. It will impact on the reputation of the prison service and with that the prospects of recruiting and retaining staff. You are not responsible for the wider problems of prisons, but you have added to them. The level of harm is high, indeed very high." Cops launched a probe into the raunchy video after it went viral on social media in June. Mum of one, de Souza Abreu, who is originally from Brazil and shares an OnlyFans account with her husband, was arrested at Heathrow Airport trying to board a flight to Madrid the same day. The court heard how she had phoned the prison as she fled to the airport to say that she would not be returning to work and that her husband would bring her equipment back. De Souza Abreu answered no comment to all questions in a police interview, but provided a written statement in which she claimed she was acting under duress the entirety of the time. She told investigators she'd been left alone on the 4th landing when she was ushered into the cell by Weick and the other inmate, adding, "I was terrified for my own safety. If I had tried to resist or not gone along with it, I was sure I would be raped or seriously assaulted." Prosecutor Eloise Marshall KC branded the account, which de Souza Abreu later resiled, as entirely false. She said further checks of her prison-issued body-worn camera revealed clips of relevance, including one of the prison officer giving Weick oral sex earlier that day in a separate incident. Ms Marshall said it was clear that the tryst was intentional and deliberate and that she had undermined the authority of all prison staff. In Mitigation, de Souza Abreu's defence barrister, Rajiv Menon KC, said his client has since been diagnosed with severe borderline personality disorder and ADHD, which the judge agreed was a significant factor in her offending. Today, a spokesman for the prison service said, "While the overwhelming majority of prison service staff are hard-working and honest, we're catching more of the small minority who break the rules by bolstering our counter-corruption unit and strengthening our vetting processes. As today's sentencing demonstrates, where officers do fall below our high standards, we won't hesitate to take robust action."